Hey guys, I haven't vlogged in a really long time and I thought that it was a good time to come back and do something because I've been having these interesting conversations lately about diabetes, and it has just blown me away how much people misunderstand the condition and the illness. And I just wanted to come talk about it because it's really important to me for people to understand what I'm actually going through and why it's important to understand the illness instead of just assuming that it is one thing or another. I guess from here, let's get started. So the way that this came up was that the other day, a Facebook friend had been talking about a situation that her ex-significant other had gone through with diabetes. He had diabetic ketoacidosis, which is when your blood turns into acid from either a way too high blood sugar or way too low blood sugar. So your body starts pumping acid basically through your organs, through your entire body, and it can kill you. And it's a really terrible condition, and it's just something that you never wish upon anyone. You hope that nobody ever has to go through that, and it's very rare that people come out on the other side of that alive. So it's a blessing completely that he survived it, and it was said that he had to choose between rent and insulin because the cost of diabetic supplies are so freaking expensive. And somebody left an insensitive comment on that, basically talking about how he shouldn't have loved sugar so much because that is his undoing. And the person eventually deleted it, but it was like almost horrifying to me because that kind of comment happens a lot with diabetes and diabetics in general. But things like that are such a gross misunderstanding of what the illness actually is and how it affects people's bodies that I can't hear it again. Like, I cannot tell you how many times somebody has direct messaged me on Twitter or Instagram and said like, oh, I know how you can cure your diabetes. Just stop eating sugar, or just take this supplement, or just do this, or just do that. And it makes me so angry because I'm like, truly, you are misunderstanding what I actually have to do every day to keep my body in check. So first things first, diabetes is not caused by eating tons and tons of sugar. There are two types of diabetes. There's type 1, where you're born without producing insulin. Your body does not produce insulin and you have to take insulin, whether it's through a pump, whether it's through injections. Your body needs it because you don't produce it, and therefore your body doesn't send insulin into your bloodstream to combat what you just ate or what you're ingesting, and so you need artificial insulin production because of that. That's type 1. Type 2 diabetes comes from lifestyle, but it also is a part of your body being resistant to insulin. So though your body may produce insulin, it is resistant to the insulin that you're producing. So you have to take extra insulin, and you have to be additionally careful of your diet, of your exercise, of your routine, so that you're making sure you're making choices that don't necessarily keep your blood sugar high or spike it, because you can have instances where you have diabetic ketoacidosis, you can have seizures, you can have early strokes, it can have an effect on your organs, your heart, your lungs, your kidneys, your liver. All of that is affected when you have type 2 diabetes. And so the goal and the idea is to keep your blood sugar at a normal level. And it's the same goal with type 1 diabetes, but with type 1 diabetes, you're having that artificial insulin pumped into you so that your body is producing what it normally should. Whereas with type 2, your body is resistant to the insulin that you're already producing. So you're adding extra insulin and extra medication to help your body and your pancreas create that boost so that your blood sugar doesn't spike and so you don't have adverse effects. So when someone says, well, maybe you should just stop eating all the sugar that you eat all the time, it pisses me off like to no end, because that is not what happens with this illness. Like, I can tell you that there are so many days where I do everything right. I eat like a vegan diet all day. I have no meat, I have no dairy, I have nothing. I eat salads, I eat greens, I eat beans, I eat all of the right things. I measure my carbohydrates, I understand everything that I've done for the day. I exercise, I do every single thing right, and I can still come home, test my blood sugar, and it can still be in the 200s, and I have no idea why. There are some days where I eat something totally crazy and I think, this is gonna spike me today. This is gonna be the day that I'm gonna test and it's gonna be crazy, and I'm like gonna go insane because I can't believe that I have like done this today. And then I test and I'm normal. I'm in the right range. And so it's really just a matter of keeping your body in check, keeping yourself in check, monitoring what you're doing, logging your blood sugars, logging your blood pressure, taking your medication every day, making sure you take your insulin at the right time. It's a whole combination of things that keeps you successful. And so when I hear somebody belittle it so much to say, you just eat too many chips, you eat too many sugars, you should just cut down on that per day, I get so frustrated because I am doing the right things. I'm doing the things that I'm supposed to do. And granted, some days everybody cheats, every single person, like everybody. You want a piece of candy, or you want some cereal, or you want this, or you want that. Like, you're not going to deprive yourself of that, but what matters is that you're doing it in moderation and you're not doing it every moment of every single day. And so that to me is the difference. It's like, as long as I keep myself in check, it's okay if every once in a while I indulge in something. It just can't be every single day or every single time that I want to. But hearing someone say that, like, that is my problem and that is why I have diabetes and that is my fault, is just such a terrible misunderstanding, and it puts this stigma on type 2 diabetes that really shouldn't be there, because honestly it could happen to any single person on any single day. Your body could become resistant to the insulin that you produce, and it makes it harder for you to be able to keep your blood sugars in check. I think my dog just made herself comfortable back there. So the whole point of saying any of this is that you really need to think about your understanding of type 1 and type 2 diabetes, and you need to be conscious of what you're saying about people and what you're saying about their struggles, because this illness is not a walk in the park. It's not something that can just be cured in an instant, neither type 1 or type 2. It is definitely manageable. I am finding myself that it's incredibly manageable if you do the right things, if you work it into your routine and you do what you're supposed to do each day. But it doesn't mean that it's not hard to live with, and it doesn't mean that the mischaracterization of what it actually is can keep going on, because it can't. Because it's harmful to people who have the illness, who are trying to get better, and who are looking for treatments and studies and understandings of how they can in the future either be cured, crossing our fingers, hopefully one day there's a cure for diabetes, or people who just want to manage the illness without the stigma on them. I know when I was first diagnosed, it was the most embarrassing thing in the world for me to tell people that I was diabetic, because I was afraid of how badly I would be judged. And I myself had a complete misunderstanding of what being diabetic meant and what it was and how I was supposed to live with it. And it wasn't until it was explained to me that this is what your body is doing and this is why this is happening to you, that it made sense to me, and it made me think twice about all of the stigma and all of the things that I thought about type 2 diabetes. So if you don't understand it, there are tons and tons of great resources that I will link down below so that you can read and you can get an understanding of diabetes. If you ever want to talk about it with me before you go blaming someone for eating a bunch of sugar and causing this to happen to themselves, I would be totally glad and completely open to have that conversation. But I just wanted to say that because there have been so many times in these past couple of weeks where I've seen those kinds of things said about people with diabetes, and it's just wrong and it's awful. And I wish people understood more what people go through when they have to deal with this. So like I said, if you ever want to talk, you can find me. I'm everywhere online, and I just wanted to say that because I thought that it was important, especially with a lot of things that I was hearing these past couple weeks. So I hope you like this video. I hope you learned something from it, and I would love to know what your experience with diabetes is, whether somebody you know has it, whether you have it, and what you've heard people say about it, and what those just kind of what those buzzwords and what those like common things that people say as soon as they learn that you have diabetes, like what are they saying to you and what is their understanding of what the illness is. Leave that down below in a comment, and I would love to read it and hear about it. Until the next time, I will talk to you guys later. Take care. Bye.